Here we go. Hello po, magandang umaga, magandang gabi, magandang hapon. Wherever you are in this part of the world, it's still last hours of May 31, 2025 here in Atlanta, Georgia, USA. And it is still part of the Asian American Pacific Heritage Month celebration. And part of my ACT International is International Consulting LLC Leadership Speaker Series is featuring a leader. And tonight, dito sa Atlanta, I'm honored to have with me Miss Didi O'Connor. You're gonna learn more about her life, about what she does in the community, how I came to know her, how she transitioned life from the Philippines to the USA, and all of her engagements in the PhilM community. And in doing that, to get us started, I'm gonna start on having this slide that I always like share about what is this Leadership Speaker Series 2025 that is part of what I do with my ACT International Consulting LLC. So we are here based now in the USA, but the common thing with me and Miss Didi, we are all originally from the Philippines, of course, obvious ba? And specifically Mindanao. South Central Mindanao ako, Northern Mindanao naman siya, from Zamboanga. So, Chabacano si Miss Didi. Ang purpose ng leadership series na ito is for highlighting accomplished na mga leaders, driving community development, and also people empowerment through monthly interviews. So this is year-long for 2025. Ito yung aking mga speakers. That initiative that inspires for action, sharing best practices, and equipping audiences with practical insights to foster collaboration and create meaningful impact. And then the objectives of this leadership speaker series is to inspire action, highlighting best practices and foster collaboration, empower communities, and of course, celebrating leadership. So tonight, here in Atlanta, I'm very honored to have Miss Didi O'Connor. We call her Miss Didi in short, former chairwoman of Makabayan, Georgia, Inc., former president of Film Association of Greater Atlanta, among so many of the different leadership roles, Chamber of Commerce of the Philippines, so many roles. I'm just highlighting very, very few. Cultural advocate, at the same time, a multi-awarded community leader. And we are going to talk about bridging cultures, building legacy, leadership through service in the Filipino-American community from the context of Film community leader, Miss Didi O'Connor. Miss Didi, welcome to ACT International Consulting Leadership Speaker Series. Maraming salamat sa pagpapaunlak. Given a very, very short notice because I'm supposed to have another film community leader that you know who is also dear to your heart, who should be the speaker for this month. But because of some circumstances, it will be moved on another month. Maraming salamat sa pagpapaunlak for a very last minute na request. And welcome to this leadership speaker series. So let's get started, Miss Didi. I'm gonna stop sharing screen and just share, especially about your life, about your civic engagement, uh, your history. How did you come to the USA? What inspired you? What's your story like? Let's get started in that sense.
So, are you
Yes.
gonna?
Yes.
I thought you were going to ask me questions.
Yes. You can go ahead and then get started with for example, what inspired you to take on leadership roles in the Filipino American community? Your story. How did you get started here? How your initial stages of your life when you come. How did you come to the USA? I think we can get started with that.
How I came to the US?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it happened because I married my co-teacher who was a Peace Corps volunteer in my high school. He taught chemistry while I taught physics. And those two subjects was under my department because I was department head of the physics and chemistry department. So after 2 years knowing him, we came to the States. And we came to Madison, Wisconsin at that time with a 3-week-old baby, where he went to graduate school and for a PhD in water chemistry. And I was a housewife to start with. And later I got a job at the university as a research specialist in cancer research, majoring in biochemistry. And how should I say it? We were, at that time, I had a full-time job, but we got to know the Filipinos in Madison and later got involved in the organizations in Madison. And even taught our children to eat Filipino food, to learn the Filipino folk dances and games with the other children. And then when Ralph was done, we came to Atlanta where he got a job at CDC and I got a job at Emory University as a researcher in biochemistry.
Awesome. Fantastic. And his name is, can you tell us
Ralph
his name?
O'Connor Jr. I call
Ralph
him
O'Connor
Folks.
Awesome, Miss Didi. So I'm showing a photo of you and he is actually Dr. Ralph O'Connor.
Yes.
Yes, he is actually like Dr. Ralph O'Connor. Now, Miss Didi, for how long have you been here in Atlanta now? Total of number of years?
We came in 1983, so 42 years in Atlanta. And the first 14 years in Madison, then we came to Atlanta in 1983.
Yeah. So when you came to Atlanta, what question is that? What inspired that leadership role that you've took in the Filipino-American community? And I know you were the Philam president, I think during the time that it was like the 1996 Olympics, Centennial Olympics that happened here in Atlanta. What triggered your engagement with the Philam community and then the impact of those?
Let me tell you the background of it. Being a leader was not new to me. I learned in high school from my student government roles and as a patrol leader in Girl Scouts, later becoming troop leader and graduating from high school as the most outstanding Girl Scout. And then I represented the Filipino Girl Scouts in national encampments in Manila. The encampment in 1955 and the World Camp in 1957 in the Philippines, where Girl Scouts and Girl Guides from other countries were invited to come. And it made me proud to learn more about my country and history, to be able to share with the Girl Guides and Girl Scouts, instilling in me that I was an ambassador for my country. The same pride inspired me to lead the Filipino-American community in Georgia, sharing what I know about my native land. So that's what inspired me to take on. I knew I could do it.
Yeah, you got it. And then how was that experience that at that time during the 1996 Olympics? I know you've shared that in our Filipino gathering, but I don't think so a whole lot. What was the engagement of the Filipino-American community at that historic moment?
When I became president of the Philam in 1996, the Olympic year, I was aware that there was so much to be done to welcome visiting Filipinos who came to Atlanta for the Olympics. And it fell on the local host organization to think of ways to welcome them and conduct activities to have their stay enjoyable as well as educational. Now, the planning and working with the many Filipino American organizations, at that time there were already 20 in Georgia with a mutual goal, just naturally developed within me as president.
Awesome. I know that you're also very much engaged with cultural events, and I can see in your background yung tinikling. And I know that tinikling was also like shared, especially on the Sayaw Himig, Debutante Balls. Can you share ano yung impact ng mga major cultural events na ito, like Sayaw Himig, mga Debutants Ball na events organized on the younger generations of PhilAm, and are you supportive of that?
Oh, yes, definitely. Well, the first Sayaw Himig was in 1987, and I was the social chair under the president, Johnny Paliser, the late Johnny Paliser. In Sayaw Himig 1 in 1987, for the first time, the Atlanta Filipinos showcased en masse our Filipino culture, songs, and dances. Having had experience in high school dancing the folk dances and a PE course on Philippine folk dances that I took at UP, the University of the Philippines, where I went to college, I was inspired to teach the kids and even adults most of the dances for the show with help from fellow PhilAms. Learning and practicing developed camaraderie among the children, teenagers, and young adults. In 1994, I was fortunate to have the opportunity to choreograph the first Debutants Ball in Atlanta, Filipino Debutants Ball. In 1997 for the second, and in 2000 for the third. It fell on me to think of dances and music for the teenage kids to learn to show in the Debutants Ball. I tried to incorporate some Filipino dance steps and held cultural seminars for the teenage kids in preparation.
That's it. So, Miss Didi, with all of that, that is really like dedication and passion. So you have the heart to teach the younger generations. It is sa binisaya pa sa ato ba, hindi lang siya pasundayag for the sake that you're gonna do pasundayag. You're not just doing a show for the sake of doing a show.
Because I can share with you that just as I was the one teaching the dancers at my house, in my living room, the tinikling, in my family room, the Igorot dance, and I also fetched the kids and fed them, and later on helped with the costumes.
Wow, amazing, Miss Didi. And I know that since then, 1996, 1997, you've held so many different hats and so many leadership roles in the Asian American community that is also beyond the PhilAm community. But recently or last year, was your last year as the Makabayan Georgia Inc. Chairwoman. You stepped down and then now you are an emeritus. Can you share, as a former chairwoman of Makabayan Georgia Inc., how did you ensure yung continuity and inclusivity in the organization's mission?
Well, the many activities year in, year out of Makabayan, Georgia fell in several categories: educational, civic engagement, cultural, charitable, that led to making a difference in the lives of people in Georgia and elsewhere. College kids and young adults sharing the same Philippine cultural heritage work together regardless of what region one came from in the Philippines, and instilling in everyone to be proud of being a Filipino. And through the years, some of these same kids have come back to lead the Filipino groups and organizations.
Yeah. So awesome. And then right now we have a new leadership in the MGI, headed by Kuya Willie Blanco, and then continuing. And I am blessed to be part of that organization now. Now, beyond the civic engagement in the Phil-Am community, you also have done a lot of cross-cultural advocacy, especially other Asian American communities. You have uplifted not only the Filipino community, but as also engaged Asian American coalitions and civic networks. Given all of these roles and experiences, ano yung mga challenges and opportunities na representing the Filipino voice within the larger Asian American community in Georgia?
That's kind of hard to express, but I managed to work out something. We have worked with multinational immigrant groups, such as CPACs, and more recently, the AAPI Hub, in non-partisan civic engagement, such as voter registration and get out the vote. The percent of Asian Americans citizens who vote has increased dramatically in the last few years. And we now have even an American Georgia state, Filipino American in Georgia state legislator. And that's Marvin Lin, right?
Yep.
Apathy has been one of our challenges because of the Filipino American community is a relatively small fraction of the Asian American voters in Georgia. We rarely manage to talk to Filipinos when we are doing phone banking, but we're working on it, improving. APAC, the Asian Pacific American Council of Georgia, is an umbrella of a lot of immigrants from about a dozen countries, and we support their activities.
So, and then can you share what were the roles that you have parang served, especially in these Asian American organizations?
Oh, in the
yeah.
Roles, well,
APAC.
I'm not quite sure what you mean.
I'm just like wondering if there were specific roles that you were able to do at that particular time as you engage these civic institutions and the public events to promote awareness about the Filipino and the Filipino American community. For example, itong photo that I'm showing right now is our photo at the Asian Cultural Experience.
Oh yes, I was a member of that group.
Yes,
and
yes.
With different people from different countries.
Yes.
And we participated in displays of our artifacts in an open field. I think that was in Gwinnett for a few years.
Yep. Yeah, we were with Miss Grace, and then I was then part of a Galing Foundation as a volunteer. And then these are just so many. I'm just like grabbing some of the photos. These are just very representative. But Miss Didi has really like done a lot with respect to engaging different organizations. This is, I think, is the Who's Who award at a particular period of time, and this is one part of, I think, a ribbon cutting.
What was that ribbon cutting for? Was that the?
I think it might be
the Manila Mart.
I think the old Manila Mart.
The very first Manila
Mart. The very first
yep.
store. You know.
And look how young we were.
Yes, and this one was a symposium with the Galing Foundation
That's right.
with Dr. Hernandez at that particular time, and so many of your engagements. Look at Consul, how young Consul.
Uh-huh.
And these are just some of the events as well with the different groups and the house skinny I was like back then. So Miss Didi, you have engaged the different institution and public events to promote the Filipino culture. What advice would you give to the younger Asian Americans who want to become more active, especially in civic engagements?
I would say go for it. Most colleges in Georgia have student organizations for Asian Americans and even for students with heritage from specific countries,
Mm-hmm.
like the FSA, which is the Filipino Student Associations in the different universities and colleges. Get
Mm-hmm.
involved in their Get Out the Vote cultural and language programs.
Mm-hmm.
There is a new organization for new college graduates among Filipinos, the FLAN. It's
Mm-hmm.
a brand new group, the Filipino Leadership Alumni Network.
Mm-hmm.
All organizations, including honorary consuls, need volunteers for their activities. Volunteering gives you a chance to give back to your community and broaden your network of friends
Mm-hmm.
and contacts.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Well, that is so much of a great advice. Now, you are of course an icon in the Filipino American
Oh
community.
no.
Yes, you are, and then you have engaged so many women in leadership and also cultural diplomacy. So you are a woman of who is a leader. You're a choreographer, community advocate, and you represent resilience at the same time. Vision in cultural diplomacy and heritage preservation. How has your identity, itong identity na ito, as a Filipina, shape your leadership style? You know?
Well, at first, kind of slow,
Mm-hmm.
being a shy Filipina and not used to speaking out
Uh-huh.
my opinions all the time. But through the years, I became more confident with who I am, what
Mm-hmm.
I'm capable of, and confident in what I can share with others. And
Mm-hmm.
that makes it easier.
Easier, yeah. So, to your perspective, what does it mean to be a cultural diplomat in our own community? Because to me, you are really like a cultural diplomat with all of these things, being there, especially on consular events when Honorary Consul General Donato is needing representation and for the
I've done that
you've
long
done that,
before your time.
yes. So, what does it mean to you? You
To
know.
me personally, it's an opportunity to go out there
Mhm.
and inform people or when asked what
Mhm.
I know about my country, what
Mhm.
it's all about, our language, our songs and dances, our government, our
Mhm.
history, and everything.
Yeah.
So that's what, well, it's still re- reflective of what I learned when I was a Girl Scout representing the Philippines and working with the foreign Girl Scouts. Talk about my country and proud of my country, of what it entails to be a Filipino.
Let's be a Filipino. So I'm sharing right now here some of the photos with the Governor Kemp. This was like one of our events, proclamations, especially on the Philippine Independence Day, the Philippine American History Month celebration, and so many of ours that one. Now, I wanted to shift into how did you come to balance professional life, family, and community service over these years? While answering that, I'm sharing some photos of you and with your family. And at the back is Miss May and Kuya Alex Pascual during the last year's New Year's Eve celebration. How was it like? your family, growing up with kids, being a full-time mom, a working mom, all of that hat that you wear?
Well, I can start by saying I have been a mother of three kids, had a full-time career at Emory University, and as well as became a very active community leader. I learned a lot from my husband, who was a former U.S. Peace Corps volunteer. I learned a lot from him doing community service and helping others with our resources and sharing educational experience, mentoring, and tutoring. After we came to the US, we started in graduate school housing at the University of Wisconsin, where my husband Ralph went to graduate school. And I was just a housewife until I got a job as a research specialist in cancer research at the university. Eventually, we got exposed to other Filipino students on campus and slowly got involved in Madison, Wisconsin's Filipino American community, attending Filipino gatherings, exposing our children to Filipino food, music, and dancing. In 1983, that's when we moved down to Atlanta. We both had full jobs, he at CDC and I at Emory University. We managed to help our children get involved in extracurricular activities despite our full-time jobs.
Wow.
At Filipino gatherings, we managed to expose our children enough to be involved. And then gradually we found time to go into the community, having a role in community activities, joining the PhilAm first. I was a social director, then a cultural director, and eventually in 1996, the president during that Olympic year in Atlanta. At this point, we were very much involved in the community, but then so were our children, performing folk dances or in choral group. If you look at the back, there's a picture of Tinikling behind me. And I taught my daughter and my son the fast Tinikling way back in the 1980s. And my daughter taught her daughter and her son in 2012 to dance the Tinikling in front of an audience during my 70th birthday.
Wow.
So that's how we instilled and shared with our children.
So are you happy, Miss Didi, that your next generations are actually embracing what you've been practicing over the years as part of your lifestyle, sharing your Filipino culture?
And you know what I can say about that? When my son graduated from Georgia Tech with highest honors, just May 2nd, he went up the stage wearing his Filipino stole that he got from the Filipino leadership in alumni network. They gave him that, and so he was so proud marching among thousands of graduates wearing that Filipino stole, showing to the people how proud he was being of Filipino heritage, although he doesn't look like one.
Yeah, so he's very tall. Yeah. The grandson is right here in the middle, right? That's your daughter.
That's from my oldest child, my daughter.
And she is a doctor, pediatrician.
She's a pediatrician.
She's a pediatrician.
Now, you know, when our children went to college, that's when we had more time to get involved in the community fully, even while still holding full-time jobs at Emory and CDSC. And when we both retired, we're both retired now, we're both in our 80s, we continue with our community work, with our civic engagement work when the opportunity arises. And I became chairman of the board, from which I stepped down last year. But we continue to get involved. Our focus is sharing our resources, time, and talent to give back to the community.
So I think you have answered so many of these questions, because I'm going to pivot actually on your tenure as a chairwoman of the Makabayan Georgia Inc., which focus on continuity, generational involvement, and cultural education. Part of what you've shared already, like, what were your strategic goals as chairwoman? How do you envision Makabayan Georgia continuing to serve future generations of PhilAms of Georgia? And what are the programs or events under your leadership that do you feel had the greatest long-term impact? If you can add on some more in that.
Okay, my strategic goal when I stepped up as chairwoman of Makabayan Georgia Inc. is just to be able to work effectively with members of the board in our pursuit of the mission of Makabayan, making a difference in the lives of everyone. The members of the board, when we formed Makabayan, were past PhilAm presidents with a shared goal of sharing our leadership experiences and giving back to the community. And how do I envision Makabayan Georgia continuing to serve? In the many activities that we do for the community, the young ones who have matured through the years return to helping in the many activities of Makabayan and got involved again. And then what programs or events under my leadership that I feel had the greatest long-term impact, and which I really got involved when I was chairman of the board. The civic engagement, who with my husband, with Eleanor May Pascual, and some volunteers to mention, Venus Soriano and Elsie Vidanes. We encourage census participation, voter registration, and the get out the vote to reach out to a lot of people to exercise their right to vote in the public elections. Then the one that's dear to my heart is the Sharing is Caring program of Makabayan, where we give out grants to the different organizations in Atlanta and the FSAs, Filipino Association, student associations in the different universities and colleges in Georgia to empower them in their own communities, schools, or corner of Georgia to carry out their activities to make a difference in the community. That is really the mission of Makabayan. But we empower these groups to do it in their own way, still pursuing the mission that Makabayan has. We connect the givers and the doers in the community. The givers and donors, and then the doers are the people in the organizations that actually do the project. And the last one that we have been doing since Makabayan was established is the annual Kalayaan celebration in Atlanta, where we celebrate every year the Philippine Independence Day anniversary to promote and perpetuate the history and culture of the Philippines. And in between, there are small projects, but these three are the most important ones, year in, year out, from the day Makabayan was established.
Yes, that is really a big help to the office of the honorary Philippine consulate here in
Mm-hmm.
Atlanta,
Yep.
because I was there in 2007 when it was first
At
started.
his house,
Yeah, at
yes.
his house, and that's
Mm-hmm.
where I first met a whole lot of you all in the Filipino
Uh,
American community leadership, and just witnessing that part of history and the evolution. So now it's 16 years since that
yep.
time, Miss Didi, right?
2008 was when Makabayan was formed,
Was formed
purposely to
purposely.
establish the
Yes,
501c3 that can help, you
yes.
know, the
Fiscal
all our.
agent.
Mm-hmm.
And then,
Yeah.
but it became a fiscal agent. But then, right now, the Kalayaan at Atlanta celebration is really an annual project lodged under the Makabayan
Involving
project,
the
involving
entire community.
community. Yes, involving the
A,
entire community.
a celebration by the people of the in Atlanta for the people in Atlanta.
So, Miss Didi, in this light that we are still discussing this June 12th, can you invite everyone if they're still open for the June 12th Kalayaan? Give a pitch for it.
I am not sure if there are last minute uh, ticket buyers
Ticket
as
buyers.
of. I know there was one or two today, so I'm not sure if the people who are finalizing the list have closed it.
Have closed it. But Kalayaan celebration, just for the information of everyone, is happening June 12th, 2025 at the Canton House. It's a very nice place, a new one. They have a big event hall. And this year's Kalayaan chairperson is Miss Glenda Blair. And I think this is one of our first meetings for last year, for this year, this group photo that I've had. So and Miss Didi is of course big force in it, and the Makabayan Georgia board and all of the Filipino American community leaders that were also engaged over the years. So as you shared earlier, this is another photo from last year's. Some of these like really like events that we've been having, and then as Miss Didi mentioned earlier, there was this Filipino the Georgia Makabayan Georgia Inc. This is part of the Makabayan Georgia Inc. board, who are former Philam presidents. I think I'm the only one that is not a former Philam president, but I was a Philam secretary back in 2016. And this is Miss Eleanor Pascual that Miss Didi mentioned earlier. And this is like some of the board members. Now, Miss Didi, we are almost done. Your life reflects really a value of humility, family, service, and cultural stewardship. And now, I wanted to stress again, who mentored or inspired you into your leadership journey? And what are the core values that you could also share again through your years of service? And how do you hope your story can influence the next wave of Asian American leaders, especially so that the month of May is just concluding. Your life story is really very moving and inspirational. We're just getting to the top of it and not really the whole detail of it.
Well, looking back at this stage in life, I am 83 years old in July. Now, when I look back and reflect on all these things, what you mentioned, I would say that my student government roles and classroom experiences in high school laid the foundation. My exposure to the basics in Philippine Girl Scouting also helped a lot, laid the foundation to what I am today. And the greatest influence is my husband, Dr. Ralph O'Connor, a former U.S. Peace Corps volunteer who was assigned in Zamboanga City, where he met me.
So
Now,
for all Peace Corps people right there all over the world,
what
thank
core
you.
values have anchored through my years of service? I would say resourcefulness, resilience, humility, and respect for others. I emphasize respect for others because when you work with people, groups of people, organizations, boards, you will encounter difference in opinions. And if you respect a person, you will listen to what that person says, regardless of whether it's good or bad or different from your own, and open a discussion until you reach a compromise. That's why I always say respect for the other person's opinion. Then the golden rule, and then the last one is to forgive others as we want to be forgiven. So those are the important things that have influenced my life and how I live my life.
Yeah.
And how do I hope that my story will influence the next wave of Asian Americans? I can only say while I still can, like while my husband and I still can, continue to get involved, to work with the community in the many activities around, and sharing every moment with them, our experiences and know-how. That's all I can say. Give back to the community. At this point in life, we have so many blessings that we have received. Our family, children, their education, our work, and our work in the community. That has filled our lives, making it so rich, and that we are so grateful for all of them. So we give back.
Wow. What a very profound way of really like kind of like ending this month of May to reflect on this one, Miss Didi. What a legacy you built
And
left for so many of us.
And another thing that from day one, way in high school, and when I finished high school, going to college and becoming an adult, remember when things get bad, when there are obstacles, these things happen for a reason. Always. Now that I can say that's so many things happened in my life and to reach where I am now, and things happen for a reason. Yeah. And even meeting my husband, there were things that happened that made me meet my husband. So you see, it's all
the blessing of life. Wow.
Blessings of life.
Blessings of life. And I think what I have observed for 19 years of living here in Atlanta and knowing you for all those years, Miss Didi, is the happiness of you doing it because you're happy doing it.
Yes.
You're not, you don't feel obliged.
No.
You don't feel obliged. You're happy serving. You're
happy to do it, happy to serve, happy to be with people.
Yes, happy to be with people. That's what I have like that, just my admiration of how you're showing up, your presence, the important key of being engaged in ways you can, and that it exudes in your persona that you love doing it. I don't feel at any point in my life that when I see you in events that you were obliged to just do it. You are happy to be there. You are happy to contribute. You are happy to engage others. You are happy to inspire others. And thank you so much for blessing my life. Look, I'm even wearing something from you.
But let me say this. Nowadays, the reason you see us out there all the time is because we want to get out of the house. Otherwise, that's all there is, staying in the house like as a senior citizen. Nothing else to do, nowhere to go. But I am glad I am involved in the community. We have a place to go, what to do, and be happy.
And be happy. Exactly. Look at this. These are just so many, so many. And these are just one of our so many photos, Miss Didi. This was taken December 31, New Year's Eve last year. And
Oh,
this
yeah,
is
I
like,
recognize my outfit.
yes. and this is and this was the time that I did not know at that time that I will be approached to become part of Makabayan Georgia Inc. And thank you so much for the support. Thank you for all these years, the love, being part of our family. You are really like one that we could really, me and Bernard and the kids could really say you are part of our family. So maraming salamat, Miss Didi.
Well, you are the new breed. That's why we welcome you. All that you know, all that you can do to make our experiences in Makabayan rich.
Yes. And coming from Mindanao, I was inspired by you in how we are trying to lift up Mindanao, right? It is a struggle for us coming from Mindanao because of the so many stereotypes. Please know that when I wear this outfit from my indigenous peoples group, I am inspired by what I see in you since 2007 when I first shared in the Philam picnic about what Mindanao is, because there's so many stereotypes of Mindanao. I don't
Yep.
wanted to get into argument with other people, but I find it an opportunity that instead of getting bitter, I wanted to do better by educating others. And please know, Miss Didi, that my cultural advocacy in whatever things that I've done, that was inspired by your leadership. You really have built a lasting legacy for us younger generations who are also trying to learn, from your leadership, trying to learn from how you're doing it, but you are allowing us to spread our wings the way we ourselves can contribute.
Yeah.
Never in my interaction with you that you are dictating that you have to be this, you have to be that. No, there's nothing in our conversation like that. You always like to be you and do what you love doing to serve others and to serve our country.
Yes. Yes.
So
That is
that
very true.
so maraming salamat talaga, Miss Didi.
Thank you, and I'm honored, and thank you for the opportunity to share all that is me and all that I know in my
Uh,
life.
yes, this is about sharing. I'm having this leadership series. It's because of having a platform or a voice wherein people will be inspired in one way or another, and hopefully the younger generations and maybe your apo sa tuhod and whatever next generations they will be accessing it in YouTube and Facebook. As long as these platforms are existing, that
Mm-hmm.
will stay right there. And this is part of who we are, as part of our Filipino American
Yeah.
experience, as part of our life. And I'm blessed, Miss Didi. I'm blessed that you are not only a friend, but really like part of our family. You've seen me very skinny. You've seen me pregnant twice. You've seen me and Bernard in so many events, and then you have engaged us and you have blessed our life in one way or another. And I can relate much with you and how you adore Dr. Ralph in your support, because I think I could not also do whatever I'm doing in the Philam community and or other civic engagement without the support of my husband. So we both are very blessed to have American husbands who have immersed in our community. We have similarities because Bernard have been to my community, to my indigenous community, have lived in the community, have known my community more before he came to know me. So there is that commonality
Yeah.
that he've served our community before we came into a relationship. So our story is very unique. Our story is very like different, but there are some similarities, and that is the
Yeah,
grounding to
like
the culture.
like Ralph had 2 years working, living among us in the Philippines. And then he stayed 1 year more, and as a married couple now, to learn together how to live our lives.
Yeah.
Me adjusting to married life for 1 year in familiar ground before going to the US and starting a new life in a different culture.
Different culture. But
Mm-hmm.
you are so outstanding, Miss Didi, because you have really embraced your identity, and your husband has the love and respect and the admiration and all the support. I can see Mr. Ralph's support wherever, and I'm happy that in my life my husband also mirrors that kind of support, which is very, very important. I just wish and pray that my kids will be as successful as like your kids. What we can do is really just model to them and share to them life, and
Mm-hmm.
share to them the realities of who they are in their identity, in
Mm-hmm.
their cultural diversity, and how they have to learn to embrace of that diversity in them, and the Filipino-ness in them. Kahit na
You
simple
know what
lang.
I told my kids when they went to college and what they learned, what they studied? Think hard what you want to do with your life,
Mm,
what how you want to live your life when you're an adult. Going to college is just mom and dad giving you the opportunity to learn something that will lead you to living your life the way you want it.
mm,
No
awesome.
forcing, just
No,
encouragement.
just encouragement.
Yeah.
Yep, yep, just encouragement. Well, Miss Didi, it's 12:01. Wow,
Well, we made it in
we
1 hour.
yes, we made it in 1 hour. Maraming salamat so much for your being witty. I'm very impressed of your, your responses to those questions. I know it can be like a lot, but I think for people that does not have that kind of interaction with you, now they get to have a chance of getting to know Miss Didi in our community. So maraming salamat. Our sharing was Chada. How do you say I know chada is like widely used in Cagayan de Oro. Nice, like chada. How do you say chabacano, which is nice?
I don't know what you mean.
Like how do you say nice in chabacano in your language, chabacano?
Bueno, bonito.
You know.
That's all.
Gracias, Miss Didi.
De nada.
De nada. Yeah, Miss Didi's province, they spoke like kind
With
of like
broken
Spanish,
Spanish.
broken Spanish. So
Spanish with its own native grammar,
grammar, yes.
where its
So
own grammar.
maraming salamat, Miss Didi, for this interview. We are blessed by your life, and I'm so honored. Even less than 24 hours of notice, and then you are there. You set up. But maraming salamat. Bye, Miss Didi.
Bye.